Animal Crossing is a game that is the epitome of taking it easy, but I wanted to create a challenge that completely changed this statement. With over 3,000 hours of my life dedicated to this game alone, I wanted to test my ability to play New Horizons with as much pressure as possible in what I'm calling the Animal Crossing Trial by Fire. The challenge is simple. Reach the credits of the game by getting a 3-star island evaluation without breaking any of the 3 rules. Number 1, I cannot let any of the tools I craft break. Rule number 2, I cannot scare away any fishes or bugs by either failing to catch them or sprinting by them. And finally, rule number 3, I cannot trample any flowers that have grown on the island by accidentally running over them. If I do any of these during my time playing, I have to delete my save data and start from the beginning. I can reach the credits after completing the prologue of the game, which is primarily made up of 4 main tasks: the museum donations, villager invitations, resident service construction, and lastly, island decoration. I decided to stream this challenge to add an extra layer of stress where chat could hold me accountable for any mistakes I might miss while attempting this. I started attempt 1 by creating my character and letting chat pick which island we were going to live on. I'm not going to be doing a lot of terraforming. Again, chat, the only goal of this is to get to 3 stars. We're going to try to go fast. We're going to try to lay out everything that we can. Hopefully we can do this all in one stream. Our 2 starting villagers were Flo and Sly. My new neighbors and I ran over to introduce ourselves to Tom Nook and learned soon after this that I already made my first mistake. The thing is I'm not hearing cicadas right now. Hold on, let me look up when cicadas are in season. Do I have to restart already? We've still on in July? Restart. We're going to July. Oops. Does that count as an attempt? Did we already fail? I guess we had to restart. I wanted to make this challenge extra difficult for myself by picking a time of year that had as many hurdles as possible. This included picking a date that spawned as many cicadas and other bugs that would rest on trees during the day. After moving the clock forward to July, I again created my character and let chat pick the island we lived on. We picked an island that had a nice star-shaped lake and officially started attempt 2. This time, we had Lyman and Plucky as our starters. I passed my previous attempt's record of lasting 3 minutes on the island and successfully placed down tents for myself and my animal neighbors. Tom Nook then asked me to gather sticks and fruit for him, which marked the moment I had to start being extremely careful with where I walked. I wanted to complete this challenge in a single stream, but had to move slow enough to not scare away any of the cicadas or beetles that rested on trees. After cautiously gathering the materials, we named the island Fire and I headed to my tent to go to bed. Wait. If this bug runs away, does that count as scaring it? Oh my god, they're like landmines. I literally can't sprint. I'm just gonna have to remove the B button. I woke up the following day and wanted to start making progress towards paying off my first home loan. I headed to Tom Nook's tent and was given my first task to craft my first tool, the flimsy fishing rod. If you didn't already know, all of the flimsy tools have a specific amount of uses before they break, except the flimsy fishing rod, which for some reason has somewhere between 7 to 10 uses before it breaks. With having so many other additional stresses around me, I knew I wouldn't be able to properly keep track of the uses for each tool I made, which meant I had to collect a lot of sticks to craft as many tools as possible. Since I most likely wouldn't be able to get upgraded tools that had stronger durability until a few more hours into the challenge, I had to be very careful about which fish I caught. The bigger they are, the more damage it does to my flimsy rod. I made my first rod and headed to the ocean to begin collecting fish for Tom. I'm very scared right now. This is not looking good. I was seeing if I could do it by looking, but I think I'm gonna have to do the thing where I close my eyes to catch every fish. All right, delete save data, here we go. I started attempt 3 by again creating my character and letting chat pick the island we lived on. Our starting villagers were Cherry and Flip, and like before, I completed the day 0 tasks extremely carefully before heading to bed. The following day, I again was asked to collect branches to create a flimsy rod. Okay, chat, we're gonna fish. I don't know if I can do this. And it's not even a fish. My first fish that I caught for Tom, unfortunately, was not a fish, but things turned around as I found a second fish shadow where I caught a sea bass. Chat, there are bugs on the ground right there. And that totally counts if I scare those. Did you guys see that? The little guys right underneath the attempt thing there? I almost walked on top of those. Literally, everything's a landmine. I don't know if I can do this, chat. This might be too hard. If I fail, I fail. That might be the video. If the story ends up being that it's too hard for me, then it might be too hard for me. I continued carefully catching fish for Tom that I would then donate to him. To reach the end goal of credits and properly complete this challenge, I needed to have as many fully constructed buildings as possible, which included the museum. In order to build the museum, I had to catch a variety of fish and bugs in the early game to convince Blathers, the museum owner, to move to our island. After donating a few of the creatures we caught to Tom, he taught us how to make a few extra tools, including the flimsy axe and watering can. I wonder if I should implement a rule that if we visit Nook Mile Islands, that's like my safe house where I can do anything I want there. If I spend 2,000 of my Nook Miles to get a Nook Miles ticket and we go there, we can cut any trees, catch any bugs, do whatever we want, and that's my safe house. Spoiler alert, I did implement this rule. It goes without saying that since I'm trying to complete this entire challenge in one go, I want to do it as fast as possible. Even though I'm trying to optimize my progression to be as efficient as I can, it will still take hours to reach my first mystery tour of the prologue. Because of this, I made a rule that if I can go on a mystery tour, I'm able to scare fish and bugs freely without having to restart. But if I bring my own tools from the main island to use, I cannot break them or I will have to restart. I'm still many hours away from even reaching this checkpoint, so let's continue. I caught a handful of bugs and showed them to Tom. He then received a call from Blathers, which prompted me to find a spot for the museum's location. When choosing spots to place buildings, I had to be careful not to remove too many trees in the process. While it is nice to have less bugs to potentially scare that may be resting on trees, I want to keep as much of the natural environment as possible because it's needed for the final island evaluation. Basically, if I remove too many of the trees, I will never reach 3 stars. I continued chipping away at my first home loan for the remainder of the day until I finally made enough Nook Miles to pay it off. I purchased a wetsuit to use the next day and sold my previously used axe and net to make sure I didn't accidentally break them. I saved the game and moved time forward to officially start day 2 of attempt 3. All right, and we are gonna save and go to day 2. All right, chat. On attempt 3, we finished the day. With my new wetsuit, I was able to deep sea dive for creatures to donate to Blathers, but first, I had to start my day with some yoga. Oh, I can't do it. I can't. This is so hard to. I can't do the analog stick and do it at the same time. All right, very good. We did it. Have you ever done the thing where you tap your head and rub your stomach at the same time? Trying to move the controller and do the stretching at the same time was so hard. Let's go to the museum. Blathers gave me the crafting recipe for a pole vault, which allowed me to reach fossils on the other side of my island. After this, he said I needed 15 more donations to properly upgrade his museum. With the bugs I had left over from the day before, it brought the total amount needed to 9. After making my way back to Tom's tent, I talked to him to upgrade my home as I forgot to do it the day before. Chat voted for a purple roof before I crafted an axe to get wood to construct my pole vault. I don't have a net to catch a bee if it does fall out, chat, so I'm not, if a bee spawns and I have to run from it, I'm not counting that as a fail. It just means I got stung. And getting stung is not in my rules, so. I know this statement might be divisive to some, but since the wasps aren't technically being scared away from me and instead scaring me away, that failing to catch them or getting stung by them doesn't count towards me resetting. I wanted to state this just in case anyone was curious about the rules in correlation with wasps. Basically, it's not that serious. Run! We're good! We're good! I'm not counting that. I'm not counting that as scaring the bugs. The bugs scared me, exactly. I made my pole vault, purchased some flowers to plant, and walked out of the tent to this. Yeah, I know, lots of flowers, lots of trees. If I would have walked out of that door and that beetle got scared, I would have been so mad. Had I even momentarily sprinted out of the door, it would have scared this beetle away and would have caused me to restart. I planted the flowers I had bought, then decided it was time to go look for fossils. I crossed my way over to the left side of my island for the first time and found a fossil before deciding to go deep sea diving. If it wasn't already obvious, the reason I wanted to deep sea dive was not only to make progress on donations for Blathers, but also because the risk of scaring away a deep sea creature was a lot less than scaring away a fish or bug. The only way to lose a deep sea creature would be if it swam outside the border of the sea that I couldn't reach, which I personally would count as scaring away a creature. As long as I don't do that, I'm safe. I caught a mixture of different sea creatures and made my way safely back to shore. There's a bee. Can I catch the bee? The bee's easy to catch, right? My heart. I thought it was gonna fly away. I don't even need it. Why did I go for it? I still don't know or remember if honeybees actually fly away because I caught this one, but let me know with a comment below. I feel like I was safe, but it was still a scary encounter this deep into attempt 3. Also, if you've made it this far into the video, I would appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribe to let me know that you're enjoying challenges like this. I carefully crossed over the river, making sure not to scare away any fish or bugs when I vaulted, and entered the museum tent. I donated the sea creatures until I finally had enough donations for Blathers to construct his full museum. I then double-checked with Tom to verify that I've exhausted all of the tasks possible, and after learning there wasn't anything to do but wait, I saved and moved on to day 3. We had a new home over our head to start the day, which meant I now had access to put things in storage if needed. I walked into Tom having a discussion with Timmy about wanting to build a shop on the island. He also congratulated me on my new home and told me to continue working at the development of the island by giving me my first Nook Mile ticket. This gave me access to mystery tours and, more importantly, the ability to farm materials without having to worry about scaring away bugs or fish. The extra cherry on top was that we were now able to go see the first new villager we'd invite to the island. Before we headed there, I talked to Timmy to learn specifics about the shop that he needed help with constructing. In order to successfully build this, we needed 30 softwood, hardwood, normal wood, and iron nuggets, all of which posed a threat to breaking tools and scaring bugs. Luckily, I could head to the Mystery Island tour where I could farm all of these materials, as long as I didn't break a tool doing so. I used my free Nook Mile ticket and arrived to see our first mystery villager we'd be inviting. Alright, what do we got here? Wow! What a good first villager, chat! Maple? This is the run for sure if Maple is blessing us with her presence. It's only run 3, I'm scared. After inviting Maple to the island, I began farming the boulder and tree materials needed for Nook's Cranny to be built. I cut every tree, smashed every rock, grabbed every fruit, and picked up every branch I could find before leaving. Upon arriving home, I quickly readjusted to the stakes at play. I planted some money into a golden spot in the ground to hopefully get later, then sold the tools I used on the mystery tour. After making some new tools, I decided to redeem some of my points for another Nook Mile ticket. But to prevent myself from exploiting the Mystery Island safe house rule, I wanted to implement a sub-rule that I could only go on these tours if I was inviting a villager to the island. 2? Oh my gosh, Bluebear and Maple? 2 cubs? I'm getting fantastic villagers. The Mystery Island not only had a fantastic peppy villager, but tulips as well. Since tulips were my island flower, I knew Tom would eventually need me to craft some furniture that used tulip petals for future villagers moving to our island. I decided to grab some petals as well as the remaining materials we could get on the island. I stripped the island of every resource possible, saw a double rainbow, then headed home. Upon arriving home, I turned in all the materials to Timmy, who then gave me the freedom to place the shop wherever I wanted. I placed the shop on the left side of my island and returned to the tent to tell Timmy the good news of finding a shop location. Tom thanked me for assisting Timmy and didn't elaborate any more on other tasks to do. I should spend money on things that are gonna go outside. Since I still had a lot of progress to make on the 3-star evaluation, I decided to put my hard-earned money and miles towards different furniture items to place around the island. If you didn't already know, Isabel handles the island reviews with a hidden scoring system. In order to reach 3 stars, I need at minimum 8 or more villagers living on the island, between 160 and 399 points in island development, and lastly, between 270 and 349 points in scenery. The development score comes from things like buildings, bridges, inclines, and normal furniture, while the scenery score comes from flowers, trees, and DIY furniture. I've always done my best to spread out furniture and buildings around when making new islands, and that won't change for this challenge either. I bought what I could from Timmy's small selection of inventory, as well as some items from the Nook stop that I could place on the island the following day. I saved the game and moved time forward again. I started the new day by crossing over the river and cleaning up the remaining weeds left on the lower part of the island and placing furniture around that I ordered from the day before. Alright, so you guys see that praying mantis up there on that flower? I think if I go pick up the weeds below him, he'll freak out. So when I go on the second story up there, the second tier, I need to be very careful about what I'm doing. At this point in the challenge, I haven't had to worry much about flowers or the bugs that spawn on them, but as more days pass, the flower seeds I originally planted have started to grow in. I already wasn't sprinting often, but I really had to make sure that when I reached the second level of my island, to tread lightly to not destroy any flowers. Nook's Cranny was constructed, and after walking in for the first time, I got through the dialogue of Mabel's introduction to the game. I purchased every new furniture piece available that I could place outside, sold some weeds I had pulled, then headed back over to Tom Nook's tent. After telling me that we had some other animals interested in moving to the island, he tasked me with finding materials to build a bridge to help open up the island to more foot traffic. I needed a ton of materials, so I decided to visit another mystery island to not only farm the items I needed, but also invite our 5th neighbor. Did we get Filbert Blue Bear. Wow, we got 3 phenomenal villagers back to back to back. I love Filbert. After inviting another S-tier villager to the island, I farmed some more materials to build the bridge. Even though I have planned to build numerous bridges if needed, I had to be cautious about their placement. Previously using the pole vault put me at a risk of scaring bugs by not being able to see where I land. I decided to build the first bridge at a spot where I could safely travel to the north and south and help lower the risk of scaring away creatures I can't see when landing with the pole vault. I talked to Tom and was able to start placing down the housing kits of the 3 villagers we've invited previously. Though I could have started crafting the necessary items to properly invite them, I wanted to move forward one more day to guarantee the construction of the bridge. Alright, so we can walk up here carefully now, which is good. I made my way over the river and began finding spots to place down the 3 housing plots given to me the day before. I'm gonna be a man and catch this bug in Animal Crossing New Horizons, because this is the most manly thing I can do. After verifying that I was still brave enough to catch a single bug, I continued placing the housing plots down. Each of these plots needed 3 specific interior and exterior items, all of which being made with materials found around the island. Even though I had farmed as many materials as I could during my time visiting mystery tours, it still wasn't enough for these homes to be built. Due to the fact I wasn't currently traveling to find any new villagers, I couldn't rely on mystery tours to farm more materials. This meant I had to walk around my own island and start farming wood from trees while being mindful of my tool's durability and the bugs around me. After carefully farming everything I needed, I finished submitting the last item needed for villagers to move in and decided to venture up to the 2nd level of my island for the first time. Let's go up here, start picking up these weeds. There's no bugs on the flowers. I have to be very careful with this now. We are in uncharted territory here. I have to look at the flowers and the trees as I'm doing this. While exploring the 2nd and 3rd layers of my island, I wanted to start cleaning up all of the weeds that were still here. The more I picked up, the quicker I could get a better rating when Isabelle inevitably raided my island. I just want to get to the first story. Okay, I can get down right here. We're doing good, we're doing good. By now I was over 4 hours into this attempt and still had to have my wits about me. The deeper I was into an attempt, the more focused I had to be to not mess up. I was over halfway done with this challenge, but still had 2 large sections to complete. The good news is that we were rapidly approaching the resident service building being complete. I continued the day by picking up weeds, planting flowers, gathering materials, and prepping everything for the following day. Tom Nook started the day off by giving me some fencing, and I promptly ran around the island and started placing it around. My focus while the villagers spent some days moving in was increasing the amount of bells I had to properly fund a bridge to construct. I did my best to find the golden money tree spot and planted what bells I could into the ground. Afterwards, I talked to Tom about the customization workshop he wanted me to do. He taught me how to customize furniture, which even though it wasn't useful specifically, completing this ultimately was needed to make progress on island development. Can't think of any more advice. Cool. Okay, so hopefully tomorrow the resident service building is going to be being constructed, and I basically just want to check in on our money spots every day. Yeah, I want to start being able to craft bridges and inclines, because that'll be important. I bought the new items that were available at Nook's Cranny, planted even more flowers, and moved to the next day. Unfortunately, the resident service building still wasn't being constructed, but I was able to progress towards the Able sisters' construction. I bought almost everything Mabel had and put together a new outfit. Other than this small change, I spent these shorter days doing the same flower planting and furniture placement on the exterior of my island. I see the bug on the other side of this. I don't know if I pick up this fossil. I kind of just want him to hop away. Okay, or go right on. Wow, he wants me to fail. Over the next few in-game days, new villagers were moving in and I was able to steadily make progress on decorating the island. Like I mentioned before, the main focus was on making as much money as I could to hopefully fund a future bridge. A few days later, after nearly 7 hours of streaming, I finally completed the 3rd main task of constructing the resident service building. On the same day this building was constructed, Mabel also requested I find a place to build a tailor shop. After finding a good spot for her, I ran back to the resident service building where Tom and Isabelle told me about their goal to have KK Slider visit the island. But in order to do that, I needed to keep progressing our island's image. The next step was to build a campsite that would attract more villagers to the island. After discarding some of my old tools and building some fresh ones, I only needed a few more pieces of wood to successfully craft the campsite. I placed the finished project on the beach and told Tom and Isabelle the good news. I exhausted their dialogue and learned there was nothing else to do this day, so I moved time forward yet again. Chad, as soon as we get all the plots of land down and the campsite done and invite them and all that, we are officially in the home stretch. After that, it's just talking to Isabelle and getting our island rating. final main task of the challenge was here, and all we had to do was make sure the island was as appealing as possible to Isabel. This meant inviting more villagers, placing more furniture outside, and having enough trees and flowers to please everyone who lived on the island. Now that the option to build bridges was available, I asked Tom about building one. I purchased the cheapest option possible, but still needed enough money to fund it. We need to find the money tree, chat, that I planted 30k bells in and pray that we got our monies back out of it. So we need to walk around and do that today. I started searching for all of the previously planted money tree spots from days before and eventually came across one. Oh, money. Oh, we found it. Please, please. I don't know if this is 10,000. I don't know if this is 30,000. Please. Yes! Oh my gosh. 30,000 bells each. We can go pay off the bridge right now. Huge. Paid that off in one tree. Very, very good. I spent some time placing down more furniture pieces that I had bought before and wrapped up the day. Moving forward, our bridge was complete and we also had a campsite villager for the first time. Carlos the sheep was camping, and after telling Tom and Isabel about the island visitor, they put me in charge of finding a place to build his home. After finding a nice spot on the beach, I returned to Tom where he urged me to continue improving the infrastructure on the island. Here I could buy new plots of land to invite even more villagers. Carlos was our 6th island resident, which meant we only needed 2 more villagers to invite. I purchased a few Nook Mile tickets and headed to a mystery tour to see who our 7th villager would be. We got a hamster! It's Clay! Alright, cool. He is invited. Let's do that whole process again. I moved forward a couple of days to let Clay move in, and when heading to his house to verify that he was here, Gruff had autofilled into an empty plot I had built the day before. Even though this plot of land had sold, I still needed 8 villagers to be physically on the island. I went to chat with Isabel to see our first ever island review, and unfortunately, we only had a 2-star rating. The positive behind this was that the evaluation stated we needed more residents to live on the island. I interpreted this as the island development and scenery scores were already at an accepting score, so all I had to do was move forward to let an 8th villager move in. This could be the final check. This could be it. Everyone walk slow. It is raining. Please be 3 stars. I've worked so hard today. Island evaluations. We did it. Let's go. 3 stars. Go to the concert. That's right. KK Slider is coming here. Amazing. Congratulations, sir. Tomorrow's the bug off, but he's checking his schedule to see if he's available the next day. I've never had that happen. I've completed the tutorial of this game so many times, and I have never seen the dialogue about inviting him after the bug off happens. I just felt like it was pretty unique and wanted to include this. Man, Tom Nook was like so excited to have KK Slider join, and it's just like, actually, you know what? You can't come. We have a competition happening. Yeah, I've never seen that before either. I've never invited KK the day before a bug off. That was a unique thing. After skipping over the bug off and moving forward to when KK visited, I officially reached the credits of the game and completed the challenge. We did it, chat. Yay, we got to credits. I can't believe it. I was so scared. One stream. I don't have to do this over and over and over again. I've never tried anything like this before, so I'd love to know your thoughts on it with a comment. To me, this was a refreshing challenge to hold me over as we wait for future Animal Crossing updates, so feel free to try it yourself. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, thank you for watching.